My name is Jonathan Chavez, and I am going to today in this magnificent video with the beautiful purple splash on top. My favorite color, by the way, and that is there because I don't know how to make proper videos. I will be talking about a T.O.K assignment. I will actually be reading a T.O.K assignment titled that was basically asked a simple question of what do I believe. So, without any further Jonathanness, I shall get into it. Alright, so I would say that the most important value that I live my life by is, at its very core, the golden rule. This concept of do unto others is something that I very frequently take into consideration in pretty much just about every interaction I have with a person that goes on for longer than a few passing words. Just like as if I'm not saying hi to someone, like I have this in my brain basically. Uh, Find myself consistently asking the questions, how would I have taken that, or what if someone said that to me? And often enough, I even ask, what if I was in those shoes? Now, it's a pretty simple concept, I will admit, but for me, it is the root of a lot of things that like a lot of qualities I say I have, and also a lot of qualities that I strive to be like. For example, empathy is simply the ability to consider the golden rule to ask, well, what if that was me? Dependability, responsibility, trustworthiness, these are all kinds of nice traits that I don't really seek for my own personal improvement, but rather for others in order to make up for when I've needed these traits out of someone else. Even my political orientation, which is, I will say, pretty Barnabas Sanders, is pretty rooted in the golden rule. My reasoning comes from it, I would say. My liberalism is deeply rooted in the concept of give and you shall receive. And basically, I think that that is quite fitting because it implies that if you give the government stuff, you should expect to get stuff back. And wow, you do. Crazy. Anyway, now I will admit that, as was said before, I don't see this for my own self-improvement, but it's still somewhat selfish of me to have this philosophy because although altruism may come as a result of the golden rule, I should be nice, I should be do things for other people, so it's definitely not as a result of altruism because there definitely is the second part there. It's do good things for other people because you want other people to do good things for you. And anything I do for someone else is ultimately, in just about every case, in the hopes of paying a debt that's basically not yet owed, or receiving a gift that was not yet due. Basically, what I do today is based on the chance that I might not have to tomorrow. In essence, perhaps the time will come where I decide that I'll never need anything from anyone ever again, and my being all these traits as a result of the golden rule will not really be necessary, and maybe then I will know whether or not I truly am some of these things, or whether or not I just do it for this here rule that I stay so close to. Alright, to bring a little bit more positivity, because that wasn't, I feel like that was kind of made me sound a little bit bad, so we're just gonna stop. We're gonna move away from that. Second thing that I wrote about here that I would say I believe in is being content, just accepting what you have and where you're at. And I believe really strongly in this, and the just whole idea of the want not, just don't be striving for something you don't have all the time, because it's just you get to the point, a person can get to the point where if they're really striving for something, they're all the time, always moving for this thing, they're going to be consumed by it, and they're basically just going to become that thing. That is all that they're going to be, and it's really just an unhealthy mindset, in my opinion. It's just not something that one should do to maintain like a healthy healthy state, I guess suppose. Uh, well, even though I am not really a Christian, so therefore, seven deadly sins isn't really something that applies to me, I suppose you would say. I definitely do put heavy weight in Nvidia or envy. Again, want not, don't seek that which you don't have, because you ought to accept yourself and what you got, and yeah. All right, which brings me finally to my third core value, which is not really necessarily a value, but it is in fact something I live my life by, which is that I believe that there is no God. Now, we have talked about, obviously T.O.K is a very intricate course, kind of picks apart your mind a little bit, and is like, wow, you think you know that? Psych. But like, debate after debate has definitely confirmed that there is, in fact, no confirming this objectively, and I'm willing to acknowledge that there, at least as of how we understand the concept of God now, there really is no way of proving objectively whether or not he does, or he or she or it or z's or whatever pronoun God would take on. There's really no objective way to prove whether or not it exists. But I still stick to my side of not believing in him. So I can't compare this to the way I think, because in my family, this is definitely not like the most religious household, like for sure. We never really went out to churches or anything, and for our holidays, we never really emphasized the religious aspect. But out of the four of us, my parents and my sister and me, I am the only one who doesn't believe in God. And so I examined what I think my immediate family feels about it. So I would say that for my mother, is probably the strongest out of any of my family, is that God is something, to be worshipped. Obviously, like I said, we're not really religious, so it's not like a degree that it takes over your life or anything. But for me, it's just, I'm not really someone to, going back to the whole cannot be proven thing, I'm just not someone to pledge myself to something that I can't really be certain exists. It's like I don't really want to do things for something that means nothing, if you know what I mean. So yeah, there's that. And you might say then that if I can't have faith in there, then maybe I don't have faith, and it's hard for me to have faith in other things. That might be true, but it's something I'm more centered on things that I can reach out and touch, and that's probably not accurate either. I'm more if you could prove it, if it's like not unacceptable, because there's a lot of things that are acceptable. If it's like a very like just objective concept, like math is something you can't reach out and touch, but like it's objectively true. Yes, I feel I am definitely more. I would say that those are definitely, for me, something that's more reliable than blind faith. For my father, God is more like isn't really something to be worshipped, but it's kind of a moral tool per se. It's like you can compare your actions to, and you can say what would God think about what I did? Is this moral? Would this be something that Jesus would have done, or or something that Jesus would have frowned on? And I am really, I never really felt like a strong sense of like having a role model. Obviously, I had role models like as my father, but like I never really put like a heavy weight on that. And as such, I just don't look up towards something in order to like base my goals, like my personal like achievement goals on So I've never really put terrible weight in that. I believe in, doing things based off of the needs of myself and those around me rather than something that I can't even prove is real. And finally, my sister is, she probably has the weakest, like, religious convictions of anyone. Like, she's probably would defend her belief in God weaker than I would defend my belief in not in it. But for her, it's still unquestionable that there is a God. And to that, I would just compare myself and say that I really don't like the blind faith terribly much. Now, obviously, I can't say that I never just put blind faith in something because that would be gross. That would be terribly untrue. I feel like I'm actually quite a gullible person at times. I really do trust just about anything. But when it's just such a strong concept, like such a strong overarching concept in life that it's just I feel like it's something that requires more consideration. So yeah, that was me in about 1,000 words, not non-verbatim. I would point out, I did not write the word about 100 times in this in this here in this script, but that's okay because it's 8:55 and it's not 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. So, Miss Beck, if you're listening, terribly sorry for the quality, but what are you gonna do?